All right, hello wine drinking people. It's time for more of what I had to drink yesterday, and I'm always happy to see the folks from Grgich Hills when they're in town. We have done many dinners throughout the course of the years with Violet Grgich and her father Mike, one of the iconic winemakers in Napa Valley. Worked for Robert Mondavi Winery. He's one of the first winemakers for that winery. He made the 1973 Chateau Montelena Chardonnay that won the Paris tasting of 1976. The writing was on the wall. Shortly after that, he was starting his own winery. Mr. Grgich and Mr. Hill founded their winery, like I said, shortly after that Paris tasting. And, you know, one of the great old standbys in Napa Valley, to think you can get an estate bottle wine that is 100% organically farmed, the vineyards, for, I mean, the prices on these wines are just ridiculously cheap when you look at what else is coming out there from people that are buying juice, buying fruits, that don't have facilities, that don't have the knowledge that Mr. Grgich has. So I'm, like I said, always happy to see the Grgich wines come across my shelf. And, you know, you forget how good these wines are until you taste through them again. The Sauvignon Blanc, the first wine we had on this day, the 2009, a very good vintage, it looks like, from California. Bright kind of grapefruit citrus here, notes of apricot, and a touch of honey on the nose here as well. That citrus Jolly Rancher candy on the tongue, really ripe, but still has a lovely savoriness to it. Not your tutti frutti Sauvignon Blanc, but you know, it has a lot of fruit to it. Leaves the tongue salivating for food. One of the things we love about Sauvignon Blanc, and it has that little honeyed apricot nuance showing through on the finish. Excellent juice. The 2008 Chardonnay. This wine's very ripe and forward bouquet here also. Lovely, delicious red apple fruit notes of toasty oak spice. Some fresh butter toast there as well. Ripe and round style of California Chardonnay on the tongue with peach and apple fruit. A lush texture of whole milk. And a nice hand of acidity, though, keeping things fresh on the finish. Some light butterscotch notes and minerality showing there as well. Excellent bottle of Chardonnay 2008. Then a little Merlot. Grgich's Merlot is more of a classic style Merlot, not your tutti frutti Merlot, but still has California. It's Napa Valley. It has a lot of ripe plum and cherry fruit on the nose. Hints of toasty oak spice, sweet herbs, fresh earth. Nice bouquet of aroma, some notes of cocoa and tobacco spice there showing as well. 100% varietal, 100% from Carneros. Well, it's from a blend of, Carneros, Calistoga, Rutherford, and Jameson Canyon. And nice structure on the palate. Firm tannins, that plummy fruit just echoing through the finish, and that lovely nuance and spice as well. Big fruit, but still lovely freshness. A very well-balanced style of Merlot. Excellent juice here. The Cabernet Sauvignon, what everybody knows Napa Valley for. This wine, $57.75. Like I said, folks, 100% estate produced, organically grown, and the mind behind it, one of the greatest minds behind winemaking California history. $57 is cheap when you look at all these other factors, and like I said, some of its competition. A nice amount of ripe currant and dark cherry fruit on the nose, dark chocolate, fresh plowed earth, cigar box spice, lovely nuance and complexity on the nose here. Really big, but still quite elegant on the palate. Ripe, succulent black cherry and currant berry fruit showing through those firm tannins, and a lovely velvety, silky texture on the finish. Really classy style Napa Valley Cabernet. Has a lot of fruit lasting through the finish. Lovely freshness. This wine needs another 5 or 10 years in the cellar. 2007, an outstanding vintage for Napa. Most excellent juice here, and only $50. All right, the Grgich Hills Zinfandel. You know I'm not a big Zinfandel fan, but I like everything that is Grgich. This wine has lovely raspberry coulis-like fruits and floral notes, red licorice spice. Very pretty wine on the nose. A very zesty style of Zinfandel, which is why I like Grgich's Zin. You know, it does have that bright fruit, which is what people love about Zinfandel, but when it finishes, still finishes dry. It's not overwhelming on the palate. It does have a little higher alcohol than the other wines, but it is Zinfandel. And really lovely zesty finish again, and that red licorice spice showing excellent Zinfandel at $32.50. And then the Violetta Late Harvest. You know, I love my late harvest wines, but $70 a bottle, man. I know it's expensive to make these wines. It's really tough to sell dessert wines in that price range for half bottles, but you know, this wine is excellent still. Sweet Georgia peach and apricot fruit with notes of honey, a blend of Sauvignon Blanc, Riesling, and Chardonnay. That juicy peach and apricot fruit on the tongue has lovely concentration and richness, sweetness, but still wonderful acidity to balance things out on the finish. An excellent bottle of late harvest, which we don't expect anything less from Grgich Hills. All right, well, that's what I had to drink with the folks from Grgich. I'm your host, Andrew Lampasoni, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying, remember, always drink the good stuff first.